Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dumbass Podcast. I am Winter.
I am Zach, Gold Pigman.
And I am Pyrite.
And hey, we're doing a sequel episode. One of our most best videos, personally, I think we've done, which is the drugs episode of the podcast. We've gathered enough of those good stories to do a sequel. So that's what we're going to be doing here for you today. But first, small talk.
I mean,
And for a little bit of behind the scenes, we're recording this literally seconds after we finished recording the last one, so we don't really have much to talk about. But we watched Kick-Ass last night.
Oh, fucking hell.
we watched a lot of movies.
Kick-Ass.
Yeah, I finally showed them Kick-Ass, which is, God, such a fucking good movie.
Well, now I've seen both films now.
Yeah. I suppose I have something I could say. I mentioned it offhand, like one time in the last episode, but it's something I want to elaborate on. So, something I've started doing, mostly because it's, like, for the most part, pretty easy and free to do, is I've started playing certain Roblox games.
Right.
And one that's kind of become a hyperfixation for me is Pressure. Now, if you have heard of it before but haven't gotten into it, chances are someone's probably told you it's like, oh, it's a Doors clone or something like that. But to be fair, that's not accurate because I stand by the fact that that type of gameplay goes all the way back to Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion.
Oh, yeah. God, I
Uh,
love that game.
So, fucking make of that what you will. And I'd say you still owe it to yourself if you are a Roblox player at all. I'm not going to force you to if you're not.
My opinions on Roblox used to be I just hated it. Now it's broadened a little bit. There are some good ones on there, like fucking Dress to Impress.
Yeah. But if you play Roblox in any capacity, and you haven't tried Pressure, I say you owe it to yourself. It's one of those games where you're gonna die a fucking lot, and that's how you learn. But it's genuinely probably a pretty well designed incarnation of the room-to-room survival format, or as I like to call them, mansion likes.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of, like, because, like, the lore, the monsters, they're all intelligently designed. Like, it's not just some, oh, you're going through this place just fucking because, and you're not getting attacked by these monsters just fucking because. There's a reason you're there. You have a very clear objective. There's a lot of interesting backstory to the setting of the game. And the monsters that attack you are they have reasons to, either because they're essentially wild animals functioning on their instinct rather than just, oh, a demon kills you fucking because, or they're monsters with intelligence that have legitimate beef and reasons to kill you.
Right.
And there's a lot of nuance and care to it, and it especially it revels in the fact that it has a very big SCP vibe to it as well, like it's designed to.
Right.
My only thing is, like, if you have some fears like thalassophobia, which is the ocean for those of you who don't know,
I hate the ocean.
or megalophobia, which is big things.
Hate that too.
If you have either of those fears, the game's probably going to freak you out a good bit.
Megalophobia. That's why I'm scared of my mom. Fat bitch. Anyways.
But I'd say if you play Roblox in any capacity, you owe it to yourself to try to check out the game and play it for a good bit
Right.
before you make your final judgment.
There's a few hidden gems on Roblox.
We went to some fucking thrift stores the other day, and I saw like figures of like Doors things, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
fucking Pressure should do that because I'd buy those.
Dude, this brings me into something I want to say real quick. Is that I've been to Walmart and like a couple other stores with my friend Ray a bunch lately, and the amount of fucking Rainbow Friends merch I see is fucking hilarious. Like, Rainbow Friends is also one of the few games on Roblox that I have played and actually do enjoy. That doesn't exclude it from being a really shitty mascot horror game. It's still fun, but it's like, it infests Walmart now. I can't go 2 seconds without seeing that blue bastard's mug. But, oh god, there's a lot of fucking... got the Minecraft movie.
Oh, yeah.
I've thought about one day doing an episode where we talk about video game movies, so maybe I'll save that for the future.
We should do an episode on that.
That would be good.
Alright, stay tuned.
Alright, but we got a good sequel up. Nate's got a really good story, and me and Zach got some smaller stuff. This will probably be a shorter episode, but we've wanted to do a sequel to this for a while.
Since we have more like a collection of smaller things, I say we each do one, let Nate tell his big story, then we end off with the rest of ours.
Yeah, alright, that's good.
Okay, so I'll go first. Something that has happened ever since the last time we did the first drug episode is you actually introduced me into starting to do weed.
Yeah.
I've started smoking weed. I'm not very regular about it,
No.
but it has been something. And there are a couple distinct, like a handful of times where I've gotten so fucking into the deep end, where I just experienced or saw some crazy shit. And,
I'm remembering the plant. You know the one.
yes. So, for reference, I'll start with this one since it's the first one on my notepad. So there was one time where we did it. We did the weed inside of a car to hotbox.
Right, that did happen.
And it was all of us. And we were smoking. We were doing some shit. I ended up taking a couple of really big hits.
For reference, this was back when you were still trying to get into finding the right rhythm to do it.
Yeah. I'm much better about it now, but I took some really nasty big hits that time, and I had to I had to open my car door and lean out to deal with upcoming, like, spit, and during what I was also coughing a shit ton, and during one of those coughing fits, I swear to God, I saw, like, the edge of the fucking universe, and I'm not using that as a metaphor. I swear to God, I actually saw it for like a split second, and I also saw something over there. I don't know if I don't want to call it like some higher power or anything, but they were some form of being, and for some reason they were really low in polygons. So
Hell yeah. Dude, you saw Gwimbly.
I saw a being that was really low in polygons, and despite that fact, I stand by the fact that she was kind of hot.
She kind of bad, though.
Anyway, but yeah, that's just a funny incident that occurred with me.
I have a small one I'll say real quick before we let Nate get into his big story. Nate's kind of the reason we wanted to do part 2. But we have a very specific spot at the house where we like to smoke a lot. It's like, the swinging bench. We've actually recorded a few podcast episodes there before. There's this one bush that's like right in front of the bench, right?
Yeah.
And it's normal. You look at that sober, you're not going to think that's just a bush. When you get high enough, it starts to look like Helpy from Five Nights at Freddy's. And it's uncanny.
Funny enough, I was kind of on that leaning edge where I was starting to become high, but not completely high.
And looking at that bush, I instantly saw what they were talking about. Limb by limb, I saw the fat little body, the little limbs.
It's just
Two ears and
too
a tongue.
perfect.
Yeah, it's like I said, like we said, it's like it's not enough of a defined shape. So like when you're just a dude walking by, you're gonna look at that bush and be like, "Oh, that's a bush." But like when you get high, the shape kind of shaves itself out,
Yeah.
and it really looks like helpy.
Like, you would have to see it to fully get the experience, but it's just like, it's too perfect. And the fact that all three of us have seen it, it's so good. And now that's like instantly what I think about whenever we go to smoke. I'm just like, oh, there's Helpy watching over us.
Bro, blunt rotation with helpy.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
That's why he's in the hospital so much.
No, he's in the hospital so much.
He's breaking his damn neck.
Yeah, he keeps busting his ass.
This is something that we actually figured out the other day. Just because this is one of those things you only think about when you're high. It's just like, oh, in Help 1 and 2, he's in there so much just because he keeps fucking breaking his limbs.
Yeah, he keeps trying to jump into the ball pit. He breaks his damn neck on the landing.
He keeps fucking busting his ass testing like all the attractions and rides, and then he has to go to first aid so much.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but fucking hell. There's also the fact that the nurse in the Secret of the Mimic trailer, people think is the carnival nurse from those minigames.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
Another out-of-pocket Heather Masters character to add to the list.
Well, no, the whole point is that
True, she was not sus.
The whole point was that she was the only Heather Masters character who wasn't out of pocket.
Yeah.
But now that it's possible the nurse in Secret of the Mimic could be her, that now creates a vacuum where there's room for it to be the case again.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's happening in June, so not far off.
But yeah, let's have Nate tell his story.
This is the main selling point here, guys. All right. You ready?
I'm Hitler's long-lost cousin.
Oh.
Anyway, my God, this story, this is the pinnacle of the drug series, my God. So, two friends, Greed, sorry, I get those two confused for some reason, and Whimsy.
Oh, hell yeah, you
Love
smoke
her.
with them?
Love her a lot. I was actually going in, and I was thinking about getting Fuckatol, but honestly, it's just not the medicine for me, because, like, I've lately been really stressful, like, very stressful to the point where I don't even know Fuckatol would even work. So, I talked to both of them. Well, Greed, obviously, he didn't know a whole lot about the drug scheme.
Right,
But
right.
when it came
He's
to
more of a booze guy.
Yeah, he threw... I've read the story. He threw his life away.
It's really sad, honestly.
Anyway, I talked to Whimsy, and I barely understood her, mostly because I was distracted by the smell. But anyway...
Subtitles are probably really blurry, too.
But anyway, she had me follow her into a back room.
Right. The back rooms!
And she pulled out this little bag full of this weird pink powder, and it just... I was looking at this like, what the fuck is this?
Right, right.
And she basically described to me what it was. It was puppet sugar. And apparently it's very lethal in a certain amount of doses.
Yeah, I hear humans aren't even supposed to do that shit.
She told me that most humans, they typically either die right as they stored it, or they end up killing themselves along the way. And in fact, while I was on my way over to the fucking Bill Bush, I saw a dude jump off of one of those drive-in parking garages or whatever those things are. He kind of looked like me.
That's weird.
Anyway, I was very hesitant about this because no drug have I seen look this pink. It was vibrant. So anyway, I tried some of it, and immediately I could feel myself basically choking back tears, because this thing was powerful. It was like somebody hit me in the fucking face with brass knuckles. That's how powerful
more
it
potent
was.
than that.
And, my God, when I walked out of there, I somehow felt even worse after that. Like,
Damn.
instead of feeling stressed out, I felt paranoid. Like, I felt like at any given moment, someone was just gonna jump out and kill me. And after that night, and I woke up, my God, I thought I was fucking dying. Like, I literally could not breathe. I was basically passing up loogies every 10 minutes. It was awful of me, and it took so long. It took so fucking long to actually get over that sickness. But luckily, I managed to survive.
Dad, you did pump and sugar, it lived.
I would have fucking thrown up.
And it was Whimsy who gave it to me.
That's fucking wild. Almost as wild as dickatyourdoor.com, the anonymous site that you can send chocolate dicks to someone you hate.
And not even just chocolate dicks, you could get them fake penis pumps too.
Dude, chocolate anuses, they got it all.
Mugs that say cunt and cock.
Welcome back, old friend.
Dude, you knew. Dude, if you clicked on Drugs Part 2 not thinking Dick at Your Door was going to come back, you were surely mistaken.
Still not actually sponsored, but the guy did say if we ever got popular that he would consider it.
It is possible.
Wait, he actually did say that?
Yeah, I messaged him on Twitter a while back.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah. For the record, for people who don't know us, if this happens to be, I don't know, the first episode of the podcast you find, you might think what Nate just did was a completely bullshit story as a shit post. No, he was just censoring a lot of shit.
Yeah,
it did happen.
It did happen.
This is loosely based off of a real story. I'm not gonna spoil a whole lot of it because the video might get taken down.
Yeah.
And I might actually have an hour-long video posted on me being such an asshole about it.
Yeah. Yeah. This did happen. It's just for reasons Nate does not want to say anything about it. Anyway, to wrap up this relatively shorter episode, I think we both still have quite a handful of small things to tell.
Right.
Because this was kind of just meant to be a bit of a shorter, spicy special.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one of the times in my life where I'm convinced I got very close to genuinely, fucking dying. It happened to me once before where I laughed so hard. I genuinely was convinced. I think the video where I talked about it, I just took it down because it was kind of dog shit. But I got so close to fucking, I was laughing so hard, I swear to God, I actually died for a split second. And it happened again, this time because of weed. It was one of those times where we were doing a group session, and I kind of hit shit a little too hard.
Yeah.
And I got really, really high. And it got to the point where shit was so fucking funny. And what didn't help was that the person we were with decided to tell a little story. And it had something to do with the fact that someone, within a living space that they visit regularly, there was a dog. And they went into this fucking story about how they got, I don't remember the exact events, so I'm just gonna tell it how I remember it.
Right.
They were like, I got called over. The person is going on, and what they're saying is something along the lines of, I got called over because they were like, no, you don't understand. The dog shit. And I was like, so I went to the kitchen, and they're like, they were just on the counter. There was this pile of shit.
God.
And the way they described it and the tone in their voice was just so fucking powerful. And the mental image I was getting in my brain, the combination made me laugh so hard I started losing my motor functions. I was falling to the floor laughing. I couldn't even put in the effort to stop laughing or stand up. I was losing it.
God. There's also Another type of drug in a way I've been heavily going back into. Dude, I got my fucking nicotine addiction back. W's in chat. Don't smoke. Don't do nicotine. I did this because I hate myself. But I do have some decent stories out of it. When you combined alcohol and nicotine, you get bliss. And when I was living in Virginia, I remember I had like a bunch of shots of tequila, and I had like gotten one of these nicotine vapes like for the first time, and I was walking around and I felt like I was in a fucking video game, dude. And, like everything had the fucking like the fisheye lens filter on. Like it was insane. I was walking through, if you saw Don't Fear the Reefer, it's the walk mall in that we use, and I was walking through there. I bet you everyone was fucking looking at me, but I had like my headphones in. I was listening to fucking Crystal Castles, great band by the way, with some horrible history, but that's my favorite shit to listen to drunk. And I was just like, holy shit. And the main thing is, by the time that I like snapped back to reality a little bit, I realized that I am nowhere near my house, and I have no fucking idea where I am. I didn't even once think to pull up the GPS. Not even a single time did that cross my mind. So I'm sitting here for like another hour just wandering the fucking city being like, I gotta get home, oh my god, I can barely see. And I eventually did make it home, and I just fucking crashed on the floor. Real fucking weird turn of events, but I still don't know where the hell I was in that city, because it was nowhere I recognized. I don't know how I got up there. I just seem to have kept walking, and then I just went places. And that shit was insane.
Alright. Do you think you have any more?
That was my last really good one. I know you got the tent one, because you remember it a little better than I do.
Okay, so I have two then.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with these two.
Okay.
Well, the tent one is kind of a shared one for you and me.
Yeah. So we got blasted on the swing. I think this was you just did like a lot.
Yeah.
But it was another incident where there was like kind of a bad, like really big hit I got in.
Mm-hmm.
But we both got to a pretty decent deep level, and we started talking about ways to improve future smoking gimmicks.
Right.
And one of the things we decided to think about was get a tent, put it in like the very back of our backyard,
Right.
and use it as a hot box spot.
But man, I had some shit on the specifics, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I remember the rant a little more because
I was really fucking high that day.
I remember the specifics a little more, so I had to fill in. But basically, we were like, we gotta go on Amazon, find a tent, but not any of these ones that are like safe and ventilated. No, we gotta sort by the 1 star. The first time that a feature will be useful. Gotta look through the tents, find these goddamn dog shit ones. Look at the reviews, find a review that's like, oh, my child suffocated in this tent. It's like, that's the one we need.
We're losing our shit. Because you also have to keep in mind, like, I had said all this shit, like, without breathing, like, just kept spamming it and shit. We were losing our fucking minds at this. I still think that's a good idea, and that's definitely how we should do it, to be honest. But I'm like, that's the pure hot box experience.
Yeah.
God, that was fucking insane.
But yeah, to finish off, I got a really funny story
Alright.
about, and surprise, surprise, it's another incident where I got really deep in because of some really big hits. So, in the town where we recorded Fear the Reefer, because you lived there at the time, same town as the Walk Mall.
Yeah.
So, there's a tavern.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Got some pretty banger food, I can't lie. Not gonna lie, we might make it a habit to, on occasion, save up some money and just drive to that town.
It's worth it, honestly.
To get that tavern. And it's like,
God, their food's so good.
40 minutes there, 40 minutes back from
That's
about
not that bad.
where we are now. And yeah, their food is that fucking good that it'd be worth it. I can't lie.
God, I fucking love that.
But they have a special homemade style of mac and cheese. I forget what exactly is on it. I think it's like green onion bits as part of it.
That sounds right.
But it's like their own homemade style of mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was one of you tend to order it.
Yeah, you were fucking eyeballing it the whole time.
I was about to say, I think this was about the third time we had gone to the tavern. You ordered it like you tend to do, and I was so fucking blasted this time that we went there that I just couldn't fucking stop looking at the mac and cheese.
God, I remember this so well.
And it's like, I was trying, okay? Like, if I could visualize what my thoughts were, I'd say the best way to imagine it is imagine arms reaching around my head, trying to pull me away from looking at the mac and cheese. But I couldn't fucking stop.
It was that good.
I couldn't. I just kept looking at it because it looked so fucking good. And the funny part is I ended up getting a bit of it for myself. I ordered some, and I took it with me.
God. Another weird thing I remember about that night is that in that town, a lot of people like put stickers on like a lot of different things in the town, and I constantly see that when I go on walks. And this is very weird, but there was this. If you ever seen the Die Whoopi Kid movies, in the first one, there's this picture where Greg Heffley has like his the picture he sent in of like him as a kid for picture day. And for some fucking reason, this picture as a sticker was just everywhere in that town. And I remember looking over and seeing it in the tavern, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, why is this? Why is this everywhere? And that's a weird fucking town, man, but some good memories. God. Smoke weed. Be fun. But yeah. Christ.
Smoke weed every day, but don't do drugs.
But yeah, that was just a short little episode. We wanted to do a nice little sequel to come back. Who knows? If we ever have more stories, maybe we'll make this a threequel. But for now, that is, I think, where we'll go ahead and leave this, unless you guys got anything else you want to add.
Nah, I'm good.
I do just want to add...
I wrote down all the stories I felt worth remembering.
I do just want to add one little fun fact for all the people watching this, all 5 people watching this.
Okay.
Was that the majority of the podcast was filmed in the back year of 2021.
Oh yeah, we did find that out.
And as we kept going, we started recording less and less. Hopefully, we can hit a similar milestone that we did back in 2021 and record more of these episodes for you.
Yeah, because the thing we kind of also failed to realize is we can still do these over Discord, so we might do a few of those, but these are 2 that we had, like this one and the last episode were ideas we've had, and we wanted to go ahead and record those, but we will probably try to do a little more of the podcast more often.
Yeah, and if you're an avid Cringe O'Clock fan, a couple things for you. First of all, a series that's in a similar vein that's on Cringe O'Clock is Sponsor Spiral.
Yep.
We realized that that's a series that we don't necessarily have to be in the same place to do. So it might be something that we do. And if you're not familiar, basically the gag is...
we have this big like wheel of like a bunch of popular YouTube sponsors, and we spin that. Go ahead.
We each get one. We give ourselves like about an hour to research the sponsor.
Yeah, we research, we film, and we edit, but we have to do it in that time frame.
We do like basically a gag, ad read.
Yeah,
like a parody, and we all react to each other's.
Yeah, And we've done 2 of those, but that is a series that we think we're going to come back to soon.
And as for other Cringe O'Clock things, if you're an avid follower, you may know that, first of all, we've been pretty hot on the Bill Bush series, which is a spin-off of Puppet Squad.
Yeah.
But
True stoner show.
it's in a condition right now where...
It's probably going to take a bit longer of a hiatus.
Yeah. We've hit a point where we think it's hit a satisfying point to say it's done with like a season 1.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to take a pretty good break. But if you've been following that, you probably know that, at least on Cringe O'Clock itself, it had to kind of get put in a censored cut.
Right, I remember this.
And it almost got the channel 2 fucking guideline strikes trying to get it up properly. So, because of this, Cringe O'Clock now has an account on a website called Storyfire.
Right.
And basically, for frame of reference, what Storyfire is, it's also kind of like a video uploading site.
Yeah.
But for reference, it's what a fucking Brandon Rogers uses to upload his shit uncensored.
Yeah.
And
they got way less strict rules on the censoring shit.
Now, granted, yes, the uncensored version of the episode is on the Random Stupidity channel as well, but because for some reason the guy...
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't come after me for that. But
Storyfire is going to be some shit where we're probably going to start uploading things. What's up there right now, I think, is every Bill Bush episode aside from Reefer, and also the chronological supercuts of the first 2 seasons of Puppet Squad.
Right, right.
So that's what's on the Storyfire right now. If it gets more traction and people vibe with it a little more, I'm going to start taking that a little more seriously and get on it. But that's a thing that exists for all of you. And unlike the YouTube channel Cringe O'Clock, the Storyfire account is probably going to be a place that's like strictly for the actual Cringe O'Clock film universe shit.
Yeah.
So, because like Cringe O'Clock, we also use an excuse to do collaborative stuff, like when we just play a video game.
Yeah.
And stuff like that's probably going to get left out of the Storyfire. So, at the very least, if you just want a frame of reference of what's films in the Cringe O'Clock universe, that'll probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
Granted, like I said, as it currently stands, not everything's up there. But if it takes off, I'm going to work on making sure that anything in that universe is put up there to act as basically a key, like a frame of reference.
Right, right. And we do have some other stuff we want to try to film for Cringe O'Clock, like some content just to that outside of gaming stuff that we've talked about. We are going to try to use that channel a bit more, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that has been Drugs Part 2. And on that note, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.